Hey everyone, Dr. Erik here from Med Health, where we help caregivers like you and persons living with dementia know everything about dementia. Listen, let me ask you a question. Can you eat your memory away? What? Doctor, what are you talking about? Can you eat your memory away? Well, I want to tell you today about an incredible Harvard study. Yeah, that Harvard with all those smart researchers and people, they did a study and I want to tell you about it. Let's go. All right, 2 paths for the aging brain. There was a 9-year study. So this wasn't a day, this wasn't a month, this was 9 years people were studied. And what they were revealing is they wanted to see people who eat ultra-processed foods, and we almost didn't make this video because my head of digital marketing, Ron, was like, Doc, let's not make this video because I eat ultra-processed foods, and oh my God. I said, no, Ron, we have to do this video for the people. And so we're doing it for you. And in essence, they studied ultra-processed foods versus whole foods. One side, other side. Okay, let's go into the facts. The study blueprint involved 5,370 minds over 9 years. The average age was 64. It was a nationwide health and retirement study, nationwide. And what do? In the beginning of the study, they took initial dietary questionnaires. So they asked people, what do you eat? What do you typically eat? Right? Some people said whole foods, and it was a whole detailed questionnaire that was thought of, right? Okay. Then they started 2014, 16, 18, 20 to do what? To have standardized memory testing, right? Standardized memory and attention testing every 2 years. And then they looked at all this data and they published it. We are now in end of June. This is June 3rd. So literally this just came out in 2026 by the American Journal of Public Health. Now, let's dive into the details. So the dietary dichotomy, the highest consumers of ultra-processed foods. What is it? High processing, synthetic additives, low whole nutrients. You're talking about food in a lab kind of a thing, right? The M&Ms, the red dye, all that craziness. And then you have whole foods. What are whole foods? Look, you got carrots, you got peppers, minimally processed, nutrient-dense dietary patterns. So there's 2 different dichotomies here. And what were the results? The results were astonishing. The results were as follows. A 99-point divergence in risk. People who eat whole foods had a 41% lower risk of developing dementia. You got to stop there for a second and say, wow, right? 41% less risk of developing dementia. Now, for those eating ultra-processed foods, 58% higher risk of developing dementia. And people come up to me and they say, Dr. Erik, you know a whole bunch about dementia. You run one of the leading programs for Medicare called the Dementia Guide Model, right, at Med Health. What medications can we take to reverse the dementia, to slow the progression? What tablets, what vitamins? Guys, KISS, keep it simple. Look at these numbers over here. Just eating healthy and whole foods decreases your risk of developing dementia by 41%. And if you want to go and have all the Snickers and Hershey's and all the processed, those little donuts and stuff that you buy, no problem. 58% higher risk of developing dementia. Staggering numbers. So, now there's something also called cognitive impairment. Cognitive impairment is when you don't have a diagnosis of dementia, but you're starting to have some changes in your memory and your cognitive processing. They also evaluated not only dementia, but before you go into dementia, if you eat whole food, 24% less risk of developing cognitive impairment, and no surprise, 46% higher risk of developing cognitive impairment if you eat processed foods. So the bottom line is on brain health. Ultra-processed food actively accelerate cognitive decline through systemic vascular damage. Actively. It's a fact. This is not a hypothesis. And whole foods act as a neurological shield, dramatically reducing the risk of impairment. This information is key for anyone listening, and I'd highly recommend you look at a study called the Pointer Study, Pointer, the Pointer Study, that talks about specifically how you can prevent yourself or slow the progression of dementia. Super important. I'm on the board of South Florida's Alzheimer's Association, and the Alzheimer's Association ran this incredible study. Now look, you may be a person living with dementia. You may be a caregiver who has someone who has mild dementia, moderate or severe, and you're thinking, I wish I had someone who can educate me on things like this. And I wish I was more in preventive care than reactive care, right? Before things go wrong as opposed to when things go wrong. So, why is this important? Well, look, Medicare is beginning to realize more and more about preventive care than reactive care. And now Medicare is actually focusing not only on the patient, but also on the caregiver, you, the loved one, watching right now, taking care of your loved one, not sleeping at night, not eating the right way, right? Maybe eating some fast food because you're super busy. And what happens is 66% of caregivers have chronic diseases here in the state of Florida, for example. And nationally, more than 30% have depression. So what did Medicare do? Medicare came out with an incredible new program. And here at MedBetter Health, we participate in this program. What program is it? It's called the GUIDE model, Guiding an Improved Dementia Experience. And we were selected by Medicare, trusted by Medicare, to participate in this program. What is this program? Imagine a world if you are the caregiver and you're listening to me right now and you're exhausted and you wish you just had a moment of a break and you wish on a Sunday you can go and cook some food in your home with your loved one and someone could sit with mom while you're not there. Well, you don't have to imagine that no more. Medicare now pays for people who qualify to have someone in the home watch for mom while you catch a break. Or imagine if it's 10 o'clock at night and mom is acting a little strange and you're trying to figure out what's going on. She's seeing a coat rack that's a shadow, but she thinks it's a ghost. Who are you going to call? Ghostbusters. No, you're not going to call Ghostbusters, right? If you're part of the GUIDE model, you can call our hotline and one of our team members will reach out, will speak with you and walk you through, hey, maybe it's not a ghost, maybe it's an infection, maybe it's a shadow, and start walking you through. How would that sound? Well, that is the GUIDE model. If you're interested and you're listening to this video and you're like, hey, I'm a caregiver, I'm exhausted, I would love to have this program. Plus, it doesn't change my insurance, it doesn't change my doctor, everything stays the same. Wow, and I get all these extra resources on top of it. Very, very simple. Look, I want you to go to the link that you see on your screen. You're also going to see a QR code. You can definitely scan the QR code. Click on the link in the description. I want you to comment if this is something applicable to you and you're interested. Comment, hey, we'd love to talk. We'd love to reach out to you. And the other thing I want to ask you, I'm sure you found this information valuable. And I'm sure you're thinking about your brother, your sister, your cousin, and other people in your family here like, I wish they knew this information so they can slow the progression of the disease. I want you to do a couple of things. Number one, I'd like you to like this video. Very important. Number two, I'd like you to share this video. Share this video. And number three, I would love for you to subscribe to our channel and follow us. And in fact, we also have an incredible newsletter called The Dementia Times. The Dementia Times. If you Google it, you put in The Dementia Times, Dr. Erik, it's going to come out, and it has all these incredible articles that will be life-changing. I hope you found this useful. I'll see you on the next video.